Welcome to Game Dev Guidance. In part 3 of the Unity Character Controller tutorial series, we will be adding a third-person camera to our player. First, we will write a custom script that we will attach to the camera that will follow the player based on parameters we set in the inspector. This includes target distance, rotation speed, and limiting the look angle of the camera. Then finally, we will install and import Cinemachine into our project. Cinemachine has a bunch of great features built in. We will be focusing on the Cinemachine Collider component and the third-person camera. It would be super awesome if you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It will help the YouTube algorithm gods and enable us to keep making content. First thing we're going to do is create a new script. Let's name this one Camera Controller. Once Unity is done compiling, drag the script onto the main camera game object and double-click it to launch Visual Studio. We need a few variables for this one, so let's create them all right now. Start with a public transform and call it follow target. The target in this instance will be our player, but can be any game object we choose. Next, we need a float to tell the camera how far to stay behind the target. Call this one distance. We're going to need a way to control the rotation speed at which the camera rotates around the target. This will be of type float, and we'll call it rotation speed. The next two variables will limit the rotation on the camera's x-axis. Both of these will also be of type floats. One will control the minimum vertical angle, while the other will control the maximum. The last variable we are going to need is a vector 2. This will hold the rotation of the x and the y axis of our camera. We won't be needing the start method for this script, so let's get rid of it. Inside the update function, let's begin by assigning a value to the rotation variable. Create a new vector 2 and pass in the mouse y input value for the x-axis and the mouse x input value for the y-axis, then multiply it by the rotation speed. To limit the camera's rotation on the x-axis, we will use the clamp method from the math class, passing in our minimum and maximum vertical angles. Create a temporary variable, target rotation, to store the converted value of the rotation variable as a quaternion. Next, we set the camera's position to the follow target's position, minus the target rotation, multiplied by a new vector 3, with our distance variable being passed in for the z-axis. Finally, we set the camera's rotation equal to the target rotation variable. That's it for the camera controller. Save the file, then crack open the player controller script. Before our third-person camera will work, there's two things we need to do. First, we need to set the follow target of the camera controller script to be our player. We can do this by using camera.main.getComponent.followTarget equals transform. Second thing we gotta do is mix the camera rotation into our player's velocity, so the player's forward direction will always be whichever way the camera is facing. We can achieve this by using the look rotation method of the quaternion class. Pass in a new vector 3, using the camera's forward x value for x, 0 for y, and the camera's forward z value for z. Multiply the look rotation method by velocity. This will convert it from a quaternion back into a usable vector 3. Save the script and pop back into Unity. We now have a third-person camera that follows our player. You can adjust the min and max angles, alter the rotation speed, and play with the distance until you've found the perfect combo. There's one issue that's a tad bit advanced for this tutorial series, and that's camera collision. If you rotate your camera towards an object, you'll notice how the camera clips in and out of it. Thankfully, Unity has the perfect solution for this. Cinemachine. To install Cinemachine, open the Package Manager by clicking Window, then Package Manager. Click the drop-down and make sure we are in the Unity registry. Scroll down until you find Cinemachine. Highlight it and click Install. Go ahead and close the Package Manager window. To create a Cinemachine camera, right-click in the hierarchy, click Cinemachine, then click Free Look Camera. Make sure the new game object is selected. From the inspector, find the Cinemachine Free Look component, drag and drop the player game object into the follow property, as well as the look at property. Adjusting the axis control should be done to fit the needs of your game. For this tutorial, these settings will be just fine. When setting the orbit settings, make them feel right to you. I recommend setting binding mode to world space for this example. To visualize the top, middle, and bottom rig setup, make sure your free look camera object is selected in the hierarchy and look at the scene view. You will see 3 rings that orbit around our player. Adjust the height and radius of each rig to your liking. I have chosen to use these settings for this tutorial, but every game has its own specific needs. Now, before we test our Cinemachine camera setup, we need to remove the camera controller script that's attached to the main camera object. As we are no longer using the custom camera controller, let's also remove this line from our player controller script. Save the file and jump back into Unity. This setup should feel really close to the custom camera controller we previously wrote. To truly see the power of Cinemachine, let's add camera collision. Locate the extensions section of the Cinemachine free look component. Click Add Extension, then Cinemachine Collider. There's a million different ways you can set this up, but for simple camera collision, we are just going to change the strategy from preserve camera height to pull camera forward. And just like that, our camera is colliding with game objects around our scene. Pretty sweet, eh? And that's a wrap for the Character Controller tutorial series. I hope you found these videos helpful and informative. If you would like to see more content like this, make sure to hit that thumbs up button to let me know you liked it. Your feedback means the world to me. If you have any questions, suggestions, or specific topics you'd like me to cover in future tutorials, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. Your ideas and input are what keep this channel going. Remember to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming tutorials. We're always exploring new ways to help you learn and grow. Thank you for being a part of our incredible community. Your support is what fuels this channel, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep creating. I'll see you in the next video.